Hey, what is up everybody? How are you guys doing today? I hope everybody's having a wonderful day. Thank you for coming and checking out this channel and this video. My name is Brian. I don't know my name. My name's Brian with Bluefoot Homestead. And I'm gonna give you an update on the garden. It's doing fairly well in most cases, but not so good in some others. So yeah, let's go ahead and take a look. Yeah, last time I didn't have any fencing up or anything like that, so I got this adorable little gate. It's a little bit flimsy. It doesn't do a whole lot, but looking like it's a gate. I don't know, it's about 3 feet tall, 2.5 feet tall or something like that, but I figured I'd just go ahead and put something on the garden that makes it look a little bit like a garden instead of just, figure I'd put a little bit into looks. And I ran a fence. I don't know if you can even see it there, but back all the way around it. That's not too secure, but the main purpose for it is to keep rabbits out and bunnies out. And it's done a decent job, I believe. I have a regular fence, like a perimeter fence for a property, running along the back side of the garden, and that's got a lot bigger holes. It's a bigger mesh, so I ran some chicken wire along that, and I think it's been doing okay, but I've been getting some things munching on my plants and I don't know what it is. So let's go ahead and take a look at the first bed. All right, so this is the first bed that I got. This is all my tomatoes. I got some crazy looking tomatoes growing here. These are Beef Masters. These I got them pretty much all as a plant. They're doing fairly well. I had one big issue. I started noticing a little bit of yellowing down on the bottom. I believe, I'm not positive, but I'm learning. It was too much water. Because what happened is I have a timer on my irrigation system and the timer failed and locked it on for 2 days. They got water. So I think most people know that are into gardening a little bit that you cannot give tomatoes too much water. So kind of working on recovery, I dialed it back a little bit, let the soil dry out a little bit, and then implemented a steady watering that I've been getting a little bit more recently to kind of get it back to normal, but I had to dry the bed out a little bit. But yeah, every plant has a lot of tomatoes on it. This little cherry tomato plant is doing very well. Very nice little tomatoes there. And these taste okay. I'm not wowed by the flavor of them. I believe it is an heirloom plant that was bought as a plant as well. And it's not doing really well either, due with the watering. This is called a Red Robin. Produces a heck of a lot of tomatoes for a little tiny plant. Take a look. I got a couple of the cherry tomatoes that cracked due to the watering situation. But other than that, I've probably got about 15 to 20 tomatoes on each plant with, I believe, like 16 plants. So I did plant these way too close together. I'm having kind of some issues on supporting the plants, but I guess it's better than not having them at all. So maybe not. Maybe it'll rob nutrients from the other plants and stuff like that. I did put a tomato fertilizer in it, high nitrogen. It's like a 622, I believe. So might be due for a little bit more. I'm not sure. I'm gonna look into that. But yeah, they seem to be doing pretty good. The plants are a little scraggly, but yeah, they're doing good and producing tomatoes. So pretty good there. Pretty good there. Let's move on to the next one. All right, so this is the next one here. This is my beet planter. Got a little bit of grass shavings in there because I took the weed eater to the garden today. This isn't doing as good as I wanted. There's definitely some bugs or insects that are eating some of the leaves. It doesn't look too bad or detrimental to the plants, but it is a little bit of an issue. I sprayed them a little bit with some organic spray. It didn't really seem to do a lot, especially on my basil plant, and I'll show you that in a second. But yeah, spent a lot of money on it, and not impressed at all with it. I mean, if it ends up working a little bit, I still probably won't be impressed with it. But as you can see, there's a lot of them that never came up here, and I'm a little disappointed with that. I'm thinking about putting some more in the place of the ones that didn't pop up. see if I can get a little bit later harvest and stagger them a little bit. But I mean, they're doing okay. They still have a ways to go, but I love beets. So got white beets and red beets, giant reds or something like that. So I got both of them grown. So yeah, that'll be nice to give those a place on the plate. Okay, so these are my herbs. Like I mentioned before, the basil. I'm gonna just go ahead and see if that'll focus on that. You can see it has been chewed apart like crazy, and it's these golden beetles. I have a few dead ones here. Not sure exactly what it is. I don't even know if that's going to be able to focus or not. But yeah, I sprayed them a couple times, didn't do anything. I put down diatomaceous earth, that didn't do anything. And I put down some 7 dust or 7 granules, and that didn't really do anything. They're still coming back time and time again. I haven't seen any today or the last part of yesterday, and that's the best progress that I've gotten yet. So maybe they're kind of getting the idea that it's maybe not a good plant to come to, but there's been a couple dozen nice, big, beautiful basil leaves that they have just mowed down like a hungry sheep. So not very happy with that at all, but it is what it is. I got my cumin right here that is not really doing that good. It is alive, but it's not flourishing at all. If you're even going to be able to see it, let me point this down a little bit. So over here is my oregano. That's doing pretty good. The thing about oregano is it likes to send out these runners and re-root into the dirt. And it's not really able to do that since I have the weed fabric on top. So it's trying, it's doing good, it's healthy. Next to that I have my rosemary. It's doing okay. Bought that one as a plant. Bought the oregano as a plant as well. So next to that is spearmint. That stuff is growing like crazy and wild all over the property here. I don't know why I planted any in the garden, but I decided to plant some in the garden and maybe see how it does. It is doing tremendously better than the stuff that's in the ground, but there's no reason why I can't just rip a little bit out of the ground and call it a day. So the far one is marjoram. That one never popped up. I'm going to try replanting that one. It takes a little bit of time to get it going, but I'm going to try it again for maybe a late season harvest. I have thyme right here. That seems to be doing very good. I have a unique sage right there that is getting eaten up a little bit. It's doing very well. Dill, cilantro. I had stevia planted here at the very base, the bottom part of it. That never popped up. If it did pop up, I counted it as a weed and pulled it as a weed, and I kind of kicked myself for that. That's a long grow season, so I don't know if I'm going to plant that one again or not this year. I may give it a shot. We'll see. All right, so right here I got Brussels sprouts. They have a long ways to go. These guys are going to get really, really tall. I think they get about 4 feet tall. So they got a ways to go, but they're looking pretty good, fairly healthy. Planted these from seeds, so directly to the ground, and every single one of them looks healthy and they're doing good, so I'm glad about that. Whether I'm going to have time this year to actually have a harvest out of them, I'm not sure. If I don't, I'll start all over again next year. I'm going to try sowing seeds indoors, get them started, and then go ahead and move out from there and try to shorten the harvest time. So I'm actually going to get some Brussels sprouts for the dinner plate. So, all right, so I'm moving down a little bit more in my next little section here. I got little short stubby carrots. Just wanted to give them a shot, and I also have a white carrot. So I've got 2 rows of those. One's white, one is orange, little stubbies. I may even have a tag. No, they are called carrots white. So yeah, I didn't put the actual specific type of carrot, but I got white carrots and regular yellow carrots. So they seem to be doing pretty good. They've bounced back quite a bit lately. We got a little bit of rain, and a little bit of extra water did good for them. So I'm going to try to keep that in mind, and whenever I come out and hit the irrigation on, I'm just going to wipe by these guys and give them a little bit of extra water, because it seems that they like a little bit of water. For the most part, just thinking fairly logically, you have to excuse me here, pulling out some stray grass. Being a root vegetable, I wouldn't really think that they would need a whole lot of water, but I recently got a couple books on gardening, so I'm going to go through those and keep learning, and I'll find out. But they definitely reacted to getting some more water and flourished, so I don't think they were getting enough, so I'm going to go ahead and keep giving them some more. So they're doing good though. I'm happy with those. It's not going to give me a whole lot of food. I wish I had about 100 of them laid out, planted, maybe 3 different stages, but I don't. This year is a little bit still experimental. I just have my raised garden, so yeah, it's all a learning process. So I'll just be happy to have some carrots this year, and they're looking good and healthy. So I think I even have a little bit of a carrot underneath these greens right here, so I will get a harvest no matter what. So happy about that. All right, and I do apologize. It's Missouri, it's in the Ozarks. It seems to always be windy here, so it is what it is. But here I got some bell peppers. I got a few of them, about that long. Got a couple of them actually on the smaller plant right over here. These guys are doing pretty good. The smaller plant right next to my hip right here doesn't have any peppers on it, but these guys have some peppers. I don't remember if they're red or green, or even if you can just let a green pepper go a little bit longer and get a red pepper. But this front one, actually, I see it's a little popsicle stick, and I tell you what, these guys right here, they do not last very long. So that was sitting in the shade. It got basically no sun, so I could still read it saying red pepper. But these are heirlooms. We got them from a local provider, kind of local. It was about an hour away. We bought these as plants, put them in as plants, and they're doing really well, surprisingly. These two over here, if you can see these guys, these I planted from seed. They're only about an inch tall. They have not grown very well at all. I don't know if I should have definitely started them earlier. And geez, get out of here, weed. The wind's blowing right back in my face, so kind of hard to throw weeds against the wind. But yeah, they're not doing all that good. Again, I'm just gonna have to learn and find out why they're not doing good. Maybe they need more nutrients, less nutrients, water, not sure, but they're fairly stunted and not too happy about that. But again, at least they're growing, and that I am happy about. So these guys right here, if you can see it, let's see here. All right, moving on down a little bit. Got these guys right behind me. I have a red tie. I mean, it's only about a 1/2 inch, 3/4 of an inch tall. It really wasn't coming up at first, and then it just kind of started showing signs of life. I have not a death spiral. That would be in a scorpion apocalypse, or an apocalypse scorpion chili pepper. Extremely hot. It's only about not even an inch tall yet. This one was struggling as well. And I have a jalapeno which was struggling. It's doing a whole lot better. It's actually starting to get some height and growth on it, and yeah, I got myself a little plant. Now it would be nice if I was putting these in the ground at this size, but it is what it is. I just went pretty much seed to the ground this time, unless it was a plant that I already bought ahead of time, put the plant in the ground. So all right, let's move on. All right, so these are my beans. These are black beans. They're doing really well. I don't have any beans on the plants yet. I think they have a little bit longer to go. But I planted these as seeds and they sprouted immediately. It was within 2 days I had about a 2-inch plant, so I was really impressed with that. I believe I have some purple string beans in here as well, but they did not all come up. I have, it's down a little bit further. Sorry, I'm picking weeds as I go along since I'm looking at the plants and try to stay on top of it, but I don't get them all. But yeah, these are doing good. I'm hoping to start seeing some beans on them. It's a bush bean, so I don't have any trellising going on. Hopefully that's going to be okay and I'll be able to get some product out of it. Really hoping for that. All right, so this whole bed, except for the two all the way, it might even be off camera, which are bok choy. This whole thing is lettuce. The two inside rows are going to be romaine, and then I have some different lettuces on the outside. So these are taking a while. These aren't doing very good. Last year I was putting a whole lot of water onto them, and I believe within about a month I was cutting leaves off for salad. So this has already been over a month, and you can see, I mean, wah wah wah. This one I might go ahead and start watering with, what was it? Oh, my carrots, and the things that need a little bit of water. I'm just gonna go ahead and add this one onto the list and get some more water to them. I tried growing some spinach over next to the beets. I have a little strip of just raw ground. I don't have any irrigation going to it, and I've been watering it every time I come out and never saw anything. I think maybe I saw one little plant that got nibbled off pretty fast, and nothing else popped up. So complete, like 99% failure on the spinach. So I'm gonna definitely take a different approach on that. Maybe I'll do it in a pot and do a bunch of it. Not sure, but yeah, that's gonna be in the works. So this is my lettuce. This is not doing very good, so hopefully you guys are having a little better luck with your lettuce. Starting to get hot. We are at the end of June right now. I believe it's June 20th. And it's starting to warm up a little bit, so gonna put the pressure on for making sure that there's enough water. I actually got one more cycle to do on the watering, so yeah, I'm keeping it to 30 minutes because it seems like anything past 30 minutes on the timer, it sticks and it just continuously runs. So I'm doing 30 minutes. I'd like to do a half hour, but it is what it is. Lettuce. So okay, just a quick mention. We are letting a beekeeper use a little portion of our other lot that we're not using, that's next to the stream back there in our natural spring. We have 54 beehives, and I will tell you what, we're quite a ways away. I'm basically on the other property, about 80% of the way on the other side of the property, and we got bees everywhere. They're all through the garden, and that's awesome. With the chicken coops, the watering tubs and stuff that we have, the bees kind of own it. I mean, there are a lot of bees jumping in there for a drink of water, and because it doesn't really affect the chickens too much, they're still coming in for a drink and everybody's sharing it and getting along, and hey, the beauty of life, right? Anyway, here's my broccoli. Every one of my broccoli, these went in as plants, and they're doing pretty good. This one right here especially, it's got about a baseball size crown on it, and they're all growing. So the other ones are a little bit smaller. They were a little bit late to produce. Like the one right behind it is, you know, about the size of a quarter. So yeah, last year I had an incredible problem with these beetles, a different beetle than what was on the basil plant and some of the other plants, and it devastated it. It chewed them down to nothing. I didn't do a lot last year for pest control. I believe I didn't do anything for pest control last year, just to kind of see what I'm working with. Last year was definitely a test year. So this year, the first sign, no, not a bug. The first sign of bugs, I'm gonna go ahead and treat it because I don't want to put all the work into these guys and just have it all for nothing. So really disappointed last year for not getting any broccoli. I ended up getting one that was about that big around and completely destroyed. So that sucks. Behind here, I've got cauliflower. I've got one row of purple cauliflower and then a regular white cauliflower. They're struggling just a little bit. One died. I would say 4 of them are small and the other ones are doing okay. They are way behind these guys. I'd say my biggest one's about 7 inches tall, so these guys are about 2 feet. The bigger one's like right here. So you know, maybe that'll give a little bit later harvest. I believe they're a little bit hardier. Not sure. I know a lot of people put mesh over the top to keep the bugs off because they are pretty sensitive to bugs and bugs like them. So I don't know. I've had it in the back of my head. I haven't made the purchase yet, but just get some metal to make a dome, cover it with some mesh. You know, the big person I saw do it was Living Traditions. They go through the supplier, I forget the name of the supplier, Premier Supplier or something like that, to get theirs, but I think there's going to be options out there, you know, so not too concerned about it right now. They're doing good, no problems with it. They're healthy for the most part. I mean, they start looking a little bit scraggly, but that is what it is. Yeah, so there you go. There's a situation with the broccoli. Off to the next one. All right, so these here, these are string beans. They need to be trellised. I have one I'm trying to train to go up the trellis here. The one in the back's wrapped around it and it's going right up with no problem. Behind me, I planted peas. Now, I'm not even gonna show you those because they don't exist. I had one sprout, got about an inch tall, got chewed down by something and never came back. The other one never set and sprouted, so that was 100% fail on my peas. Again, I might try to put a couple more in the ground and hopefully get some peas out of it. But so far these beans are looking pretty good. A little bit of yellowing on the bottom. I still need to learn how to read a plant, but actually now that I'm looking at it, my bigger plant, yes, got chewed off. Here's a little twig and it almost, yeah, it almost looks like beans on it, but dang it. Yeah, that was one of the main stems on here. So I've got animals possibly getting in here. I got to figure out where my weak point is and fortify that. But I mean, I have chicken wire all the way around and I have a 1 by 2 inch fencing that no animal should be able to get around. Now, a raccoon or something like that, they're not really known to destroy gardens as far as I know. Correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe mention it down below. They'll be able to get over this fence with no problem. I mean, they can scale buildings and get into a dumpster 2 stories in the air, you know. So, not sure what it is, but for the most part, these guys are looking good. I'm gonna keep an eye on it and hopefully I'll be able to keep these guys alive. All right, so this is my zucchini. All right, so I'm just gonna see, you know, if you can see in there. I've just got a couple monster, some of the biggest zucchini I've ever seen. This is a spineless zucchini, I believe. Planted from seed? No, this is from a plant. Yeah, spineless perfection. So this is the spineless perfection zucchini. This thing is just rocking and rolling. I'm getting zucchini popping out from all over the place. And it's off of the stem. It's not off a vine, which kind of surprised me. But doing really, really good. Next to it, the lighter green here, I have crooked neck squash. So let's see if I can get a shot of one of these guys. Look at that big old monster. Yeah, buddy. So these are doing good. I got them growing on the second plant too, so I got 2 of these and only 1 of the spineless zucchini. But yeah, they're doing good, doing good. So I got to back off this one a little bit just so you can kind of see the whole thing as a whole. Right up here, these 3 plants are eggplants. They're not producing anything yet, but you know, keeping an eye on them. They're doing good. They look pretty healthy, and I'm just gonna keep watering them and see what happens. These guys, looks like some yellowing is going on with them. These are pumpkin. I got 3 pumpkin plants right in here, and this one especially, you can see a lot of yellowing. So not sure if it's nutrient or water. I'm kind of guessing it's water. I gave them a little bit of extra water today. But yeah, hoping to get some pumpkins around fall. And yeah, this is all just kind of cluttered. It's hard to see much in here. That's why I went handheld with it, so hopefully you'll be able to see. So I got a couple pots. This has some bulb flowers. Not a tulip, I forget what it is, but that would be grass growing in it right now. This one right here, I have nothing. And in the back, oh, along the fence over here. Here, let's just go ahead and walk over there. For the most part, this is all a failure. For the most part. Now these guys are empty. We're gonna have potatoes going in those. And that one right here, garlic. Got a late start on garlic. Wasn't really sure what to do with it. I know it has to go through a freeze, so I threw them in the freezer for 2 days and then planted, and I have gotten nothing out of it. These guys are tomatoes. Now, we got way too many tomatoes by plant when we went and bought them. So I had a whole bunch extra. They were dying. I figured I'd give them a slight chance and put them in some soil and water them. And I mean, they're barely alive, but I mean, if they die, I'm not going to worry about it too much. I mean, it'll suck, but we just bought way too many and there's nowhere to put them. So got a late start. They were basically on their deathbed and I'm just trying to revive them at this point. So as red one here, I have chives. As you can see, there's no chives. I am not sure what's going on with it, but I planted about, I don't know, a small handful of chives, sprinkled them throughout there, watered nice and even, and just getting nothing at all. So this is artichoke. Let me back off it a little bit. Now you can see I got one plant right here, planted 2 seeds, both of them sprouted. Now I went to go separate them. They were both in the middle. This one I separated over to the right and fairly successful, separated another one to the left. It did not make it. In fact, it was just a shriveled up piece of brown. But I noticed the roots go a whole lot deeper than I was expecting. I went down about 3-4 inches, and still whenever I lifted it out to relocate the sprout, it popped the root. So actually this one I think might have popped a couple roots. And I wasn't really expecting them to last or make it or anything, but got this one right here. It's hanging in there. I know it has a long ways to go before it produces any sort of fruit for me to eat. So I just have my fingers kind of crossed on this, but yeah, I ran irrigation. You can see this line coming in right here. Got an irrigation line that runs up along the fence, and I have it running all the way down to the end of the garden here. So I can run pots pretty much all along the fence, probably another 10 or 15 pots. So I'm just kind of looking to the future on that, and yeah, I mean, if I want to throw some pots in, that'll be good. So here's a little bit of an overview since I'm right here walking around. Got that one that I just went through, all my lettuce. There we go, there's my cauliflower. Not doing all the best. Broccoli, doing pretty good. Lettuce, not doing all that good. Got all my herbs down here. Got my Brussels sprouts, got my carrots, got my hot peppers, bell peppers, beans, and all that stuff. Got a couple extra spots that never got planted here. Shame on me. Have my beets, which I have a lot of missing spots right here. That might be a little bit better. So these could actually, they're looking pretty dry, actually. Got my tomatoes over there, not looking the best, but they are producing some fruit. And of course my strawberry bed. Got a big old rosemary bush here, some lilies. Got some different flowers around. Give a little ambiance, if you know what I mean. So my strawberries, I'm not really doing anything as far as the harvest goes, but yeah, I wait till they start getting just a little bit of brown. And I eat them. This is my little reward bush here for coming out here and putting the work in. It gives me something to snack on. So pretty much every day I get a handful, 6 or 7 strawberries. Some of them are so decadent, so delicious and sweet. Yeah, I wait for the little flowering part of the fruit to start getting a little bit brown. That's kind of when I know they're going to be at prime to eat. The good ones are really, really good. I really enjoy that. So yeah, there you go. That's kind of a rundown on how my garden's doing. It's mediocre. You know, I mean, not going to complain about it really, but always some learning to do, always more to grow, always room to grow the garden. Hopefully next year I'm going to have an in-ground garden out in the back, do about a ½ acre or so. I'm not sure exactly. Every time I walk back there, I kind of start eyeballing it. You know, I don't want too much to where I'm not going to be able to keep up on it, but definitely enough to where if there's an SHTF situation, I should be able to provide a harvest for the first year to get through it. So mixed with all the other food that I might have. So anyway, just decided I'd give you an update on the garden. Really happy about the zucchini. I mean, that puppy's like, it's huge. So, all right, guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for checking out this video. If you like these videos, check out some other ones that I have. I would appreciate that. Maybe hit that subscribe button. That would really mean a lot to me. Till next time, you guys have a good day and peace.